guys, and welcome to episode 2 of the alternate future of the world. Without any further ado, let's get straight in, because I am actually loving recording this. I'm not gonna lie, it is fire. It's like I can do a historical, sort of like alt history, without having to be like super sense making. Like I don't have to like put ridiculous hours of research into it, and it's actually so fun. I'm not gonna lie. So, without any further ado, let's get back into this. So, Germany is pissed, right? Like, the people of Germany are just utterly pissed. They're just pissed. Literally, their country was united for like, what do you call it, like 30 years. And then it was wiped off the map. It doesn't even exist anymore. They're not allowed to be called Germany. The Treaty of Prague, which did this, stated that the North Germans could not call themselves Germans. They just had to call themselves like the Confederacy, and they were just like, oh hell no. So they went with Prussia in the end, because yeah, despite the fact that they don't own Prussia, because you know, the Russians took Prussia from them, and now they're angry. But yeah. So they can't even call themselves German anymore. It's like that level of madness. So this dictator dude, he's gonna come to power and he's like, okay, well, we tried to unify all of the Germans. We didn't unify the Germans in Austria. We didn't unify with the Danes. We didn't take out Sweden, Norway. We didn't take out the Dutch or the Belgians, and they're all German. Yes, he's getting angry. And he will be voted into power in their first election. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have an ideology there. Because, you know, I'm so aura like that. I am genuinely so aura. I'm going to add an ideology there. Just to make this nice and easy to understand here. This man is a fascist. This is like the rise of fascism in this timeline. And it's kind of weird how like, oh yeah, it's just going to happen in Germany again. But you see the point, okay? You see the point. There is point to this. So I'm going to go and give every nation an ideology. And yeah, we'll be back in a second. Okay, so let's go through what all of this means. So, if you're just blue, you're just bang, plain, simple democracy. You're a republic. Yeah. Now, right, so, this ring around a democracy is like how much the monarchy has power over the democracy. So in France, the monarchy's got a lot of power because the ring is thick. Right, now Britain, I technically should have put like a 1 pixel ring around it because the king technically has to sign off all the laws, but he doesn't really. Like, he genuinely has no power because the king / queen has to just be a cuck and listen to whatever Parliament is saying. So yeah, that's that. These little white, that's puppet states. I also forgot to mention, but Russia does have a puppet over Galicia, Slovakia. I don't know how I nearly forgot that. And Germany, obviously, we were mentioning is going fascist. And then we have this, which is basically like presidential dictatorship type thing. Like the guy gets elected, it's very corrupt, you know? And yeah, he just kind of ends up staying. So yeah. There is an ideology there on something that isn't Wixo. Oh no, I forgot to do Denmark, Norway. No. Sweden. Okay, I might have just given away the next plot. point thing a little, but like not majorly. Oh no, I just joined that one wrong there. Okay, anyway, focusing. So, this dude, he's like, okay, we can't invade Bavaria. Maybe we could. We can't invade, what do you call it? French. Oh, I forgot the word. Baden. We can't invade Baden-Württemberg. We can't invade the Rhineland. We could potentially invade Czechia, or we could invade Denmark. And well, the dude's like, to be fair, they didn't say anything about us invading Denmark. Like, they probably don't want us to invade Czechoslovakia, sorry, Czechia, because it's like new. But they didn't say anything about Denmark. They just sort of forced Denmark to have a whole bunch of territory. So that will be what is going on first. Also, I would like to update the alliance layer at some point, because I forgot to do that, and I need to do it. So actually I'm going to do that before that. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so to make that explanation make more sense, right. So, this sort of minty colour it's been guaranteed by the Tsargrad Pact. Yes, I did split up the French and the Russians, because like they weren't allied before the war, so it wouldn't really make sense for them to be allied after the war. So yeah, we have the Tsar Pact and the Entente, I suppose. And yep, so the Entente is pretty big. They've got all of these three as puppets. They're guaranteeing Serbia and Hungary. The Tsargrad Pact. Tsargrad? Why do they keep saying that? Well, let's say that they renamed St. Petersburg to Tsargrad. Just because, you know, they were at war with Germany. I'm not 100% sure if they actually did that. I know I've heard Tsargrad somewhere, and I also know that they renamed St. Petersburg. So we're going to have the two things happen at once. And yeah, they have, what do you call it? A puppet state in Galicia, Slovakia. And they're guaranteeing Czechia, Bavaria, and Austria's independence. Yes, I do keep stuttering, I know. So yeah, that literally just leaves Denmark. So, that being said, Germany is going to invade Denmark. Also, I do need to add capital C's to this. I will at some point, I pinky promise. I genuinely pinky promise. But yeah, so Germany starts to roll up and they start taking a lot of this, and in about, I don't know, 6 hours, mainland Denmark is just going to be like, bye-bye. And, well, let's see. The Swedes, they will also join the war. And Germany's like, I'm sorry, what? And then when they do this, they're like, I'm very sorry, very what? Yes, that sentence did make sense. But yeah, so they captured these, and to be fair, Germany didn't have a navy, so it probably couldn't have taken them anyway. So let's have a look at the peace deal, which I'm not going to lie, is probably not going to look like very much. It looks right. Yeah, I know how this looks. Okay, they didn't annex it all. The islands are Norway Swedish. Yes, I did say it. I might have given it away. So, with this, we're going to see Norway Sweden actually volunteering to sign a sort of alliance-y treaty thing with the Germans, because like nobody's seeing fascism and thinking like, oh my lord, this is horrible. They're just like, oh, it's just another dictatorship, I guess. So yeah, these two sign an alliance because these guys don't like the fact that Russia's right here. They will also steal Denmark and Iceland. Oh yeah, and I need to cover the German colonies. So Germany, yeah, colonial empire. They didn't lose anything. Oh, and I decided to colour in the French colonies. France did France stuff. But yeah, anyway, so that is the alliance map updated. Thank God I remembered that. So yeah, these guys have signed an alliance. It's brown. I think I might just call it the Axis for simplicity's sake. But yeah, so note that that's happening. Next up, over to Japan, because Japan hasn't been doing anything, and they're about to, because it was 1901 when we last episode off. Russo-Japanese War, that happens like 1904. So we'll say that the speed blitz of Denmark happened in like 1903. So now we're getting on to 1904, Russo-Japanese War. And do we know why? Well, let's see. Japan, they're gonna annex Korea. That's gonna, piss them off. But that was like in 1910. No. Okay, I can't remember when they annexed Korea. It's all a little fuzzy. I'm not gonna lie. But we'll say that they did it. And that's already pissed the Russians off. They did it during the whole shkebang over here to like not piss the Western powers off too much. But Russia was still pissed off. But then Japan was like, actually Manchuria is my influence now. And Russia was like, hell no. Manchuria is my influence. So Russia's like, yeah, well, we're gonna defend our influence then. And Japan's like, go on then, try me. And so yeah, then there's a war. But the thing you'll notice, Manchuria is part of China. This entire war was literally fought in China. So it's going to be pretty difficult to map out. So let's say, in this timeline, it also spirals into China collapsing. So yep, China collapsed like in 1912. This time they're going to collapse in 1904. So bye-bye China. So let's have a look at that. So this is the main Chinese government. Alright. This is the Japanese influenced Manchurians. I'll come back to you once I've drawn this out. Oof, well that doesn't look fun. Yeah, somebody lost the mandate of heaven. So now China's collapsing. So let's have a quick breakdown of the factions first. This orange is the Frodo. Shut up. Sorry, that's my dog. He's a really little dog, so we called him Frodo because like he's a little dog, and we have big dogs, so he looks little like a hobbit. Shh. But yeah, anyway, these orange, they are Mongol freedom fighters. These down here in the blue, they're Tibetan freedom fighters. These guys, they are pro-Japanese sort of coastal dudes. Basically, the Japanese have been like secretly building influence, despite the fact that they absolutely hate the Chinese, and don't like them because the Japanese are a little bit evil at the moment. Yes, I know some of you might be shocked, but yeah, they're a bit evil at the moment. And so yeah, Japan's been building up influence over here. And then this line green, this is the communists. Yep, that's the first time we got communism, bruh. First roll, bang, communism. Because why the Sigma not? And then yellow is the main government. And then this red is the Japanese Manchurian influence. And this blue is the Russian Manchurian influence. So let's get on with the main war first, and we'll skip over to this bit. So Russia has literally all of their army in Europe. Because like, not only did they have like barely anything out here anyway, they then, on top of this, were fighting a war over here. And they're like really bad at fighting this war. And so yeah, these guys just start to get like mopped they're starting to get their butts wiped. Not gonna lie. So yeah, they're just oof, ow, eef, oof, and ouch. And then it's gonna be a little bit of, you know, Japanese incursion into actual Russia, and that's gonna be like, oh my lordy lord. Russia, brother, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Russia's like, we can't hold this. I'm not gonna lie, gang, we can't hold this. But they keep trying, the front line solidify. And then the Japanese start to hammer them back. And then the Japanese kick them out of Manchuria. And then the Russians are like, oh my lord, okay, we wipe peace, just don't take too much land from us. Okay, we wipe. And yeah, Japan has wiped the Russians. They just wiped the floor with them. But now we've got the big old China Civil War. We've got to deal with that, right? It's a China Civil War. You know, it's not like these happen every other day. So yeah, Mongolia has been gaining a lot of independence movement. So they just kind of are going to declare their independence. Their independence, like so. However, there is more that they want. They want their inner Mongolia back. So the Mongol hordes, they're going to come charging down. And yeah, they're going to do Mongolian things. Riding horseback, you know, with their big archery, but it's guns. And yeah, these guys are just going to take up this part of Manchuria, because why the skibbity toilet not? Oh my lord, I need to stop being so brainwide. Yeah. So then the Japs are just Japaning. Get it? You know, like China never knew what was Japaning. Oh, I did it again. Oh, I'm actually so ridiculous. Not even gonna lie. Gang, not even gonna lie, I'm so ridiculous. And just like that, the Chinese government's lost all of its coast. And just like that, they've sort of started to lose more stuff. And China's not doing so hot. And Japan just keeps on pushing. Japan pushes even more out like here, which is like concerning. Right, like China needs to be concerned, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, China is not cooking at all. And yep, then Tibet just sort of declares their independence, like so. So yeah, they'll declare their independence like so. And then the communists, communism, they're gonna smack this. Oh no, they don't do that. They're gonna smash this, they're gonna smash this. And they're gonna be like taking over like most of the countryside, because most of the countryside honestly would rather be communist. And the Uyghurs are going to declare independence in Xinjiang, something like this. Yes, I'm just making it up. And they're just going to declare their independence, and they're just going to be like, okay, we're out of here now, we declared our independence. We declared our independence, we're out of China. We're not a part of China, and Tibet does the same. But Mongolia's like, no, we aren't out yet. We still need inner Mongolia. So Mongolia continues the war. And, let's see. So, bada bing. Like so. Bada bing. Like so. And then, bada bing, like so. And, yes, China has fled to Hanoi Island. Because of course. So yeah, let's take a look at the peace treaty. Okay, so this is what the peace treaty looks like. Yes, we have Japan's sphere. So I suppose we'll start with that. I kept it coloured in, because like, otherwise this would look ugly and you wouldn't really understand. So, Japan has a treaty port, Port Arthur. They just took all of sort of the Qingdao area. They just took this port city, I don't know if there even is a city there, and they took like Shanghai's there, so it's like the northern part of the Shanghai Bay. They then made a puppet government in China. They made a puppet government in Manchuria. They took Sakhalin, and that Manchurian puppet government got Vladivostok. So yeah, this is going to be a big update to the alliance map that I'm going to have to do in a second, because they will also need to be founding an alliance so that I can see, what do you call it, and there are more plans, more plot. Oh yeah, and obviously Queen China is here, Communist China is here. This is now free, the Uyghurs or Xinjiang. Then we have Tibet and massive Mongolia because they annexed a whole bunch of China. Took the Inner Mongolian lands. I don't know where Inner Mongolia actually properly is. I don't know like where the borders are. So I just kind of drew arbitrary lines that I hope kind of line up. So yeah. If I'm gonna have to go update the alliance layer now. Okay, so here we can see we've updated the alliance map. Because a new alliance has been formed. That keeps happening. Yeah, that's happened twice today. Yeah. Well, actually, no, it's happened 4 times today. But yeah, so oh no, I forgot to do this. Yeah, so Japan has formed an alliance. It's called the what do you call it? East Asian Co-Prosperity. Well, the Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. It includes the Japanese, their 2 puppet governments, Mongolia, and Qing China. And it basically is anti-communist, anti-Russia. Oh my lord, how did I forget this? But yeah, so that's happened. I'm going to check how long this recording is real quick. Okay, so we have time for about 1 more event. Let's see. So it's going to have to be a quick one. Right. So, Russia is kind of pissed off, not gonna lie. You just lost a war to the Japanese. They're the Japanese, they are not strong. How did we lose the war? I do not understand, I do not know, I do not know. How did we lose? How did we lose the war? But yeah, so Russia is a bit pissed off. And they're gonna be pissed off for a while. It's just a point I wanted to touch on. Next thing, USA. 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 You might remember, they colonised Liberia. That is an actual colony. And well, let's just say the US has now got a thirst for colonies. They just like want colonies bad. So I'm like, they'll do anything for a colony. Right? So these guys are just like, you know what? We could just like invade Cuba. It's just like, what? Bye-bye Cuba, I guess. And bang. But they just kind of instantly capitulate. So yeah, they're annexed into the US. Obviously Puerto Rico exists. So yeah, the American Empire grows, and yes, the next targets will be the Middle East. They will basically just send a whole bunch of boats over there and be like, yeah, you see Yemen? It's mine now. Yeah, the US is a bit of a glutton for colonies, I'm not gonna lie. It's not. Bang, colony, US, now. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so we know the US wants colonies. Final thing for today's video. Russia. They are peaced. Then Serbia, they're more French leaning. So they kind of need an ally down here. And it's Bulgaria. That's their decision. Bulgaria wants to unite with Eastern Rumelia, which is basically an independent country, but is supposed to be under the Ottomans. And Bulgaria will go do that. And yes, this did happen, by the way, in our timeline, but a lot earlier. But yes, so Bulgaria will do that, and the Ottomans are now also pissed. That's our land, buddy. Oh, chum. So the Ottomans are bang, bang. Oh no. Oh, the Ottomans. This is not smart. Okay, you're the Ottomans, dude. Don't get involved in a war, please. You're not gonna tank this. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, they go to war with Bulgaria, and then Russia joins. And then Serbia joins. And then Greece joins. Then Italy joins. Oh, Shiva. Then Britain joins. Free colony, they say. We've got to protect Egypt, they say. US joins. They want colonies. And thus, the Great Ottoman Gangbang is about to begin. But yeah, that'll do for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Next one is coming out shortly, because I am really liking making this. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Toodaloo. No, that's F12. F10. Bye.